living things eventually come to me.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I love giant robots.
All the 10 realms and much beyond would lie easily within Niflheim's borders.
Just who Gambit was looking for. You're hitting real hard. My really factor can't keep up. How about an assist? That is much better. Now you do the same for me, will you?
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Ooh, wait! That hit the spot.
The mission area is yours.
How wonderful! Gambit coming back for more. Boost I need. Lucky draw. No more. Found some of the spot. Kill that boy.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
Ain't ready for Rogue to be a widow. Not yet.
Control C!
Up in hand.
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Ain't ready for Rogue to be a widow. Not yet.
Control lost!
Shuffle up. Ah, got the good. Just the boost I needed.
They've almost got it! Take everything! That feels good. I like the cold.
Now you do the same for me, never fall! Lucky draw.
Victory was in the cards after all, Gambit.
Les poissons, délicieux!
Some help. The area's almost yours!
Gonna have to play X-Men and Thief if I want to win. Make way for the king. Lights
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Sorry, I don't mean to geek out here, but Tiffy and I are huge fans!
That's so sweet. I'll make sure to get you tickets to my next Central Park concert.
No need. We usually just watch shows from the trees. A great view and free acorns.
Okay.
But if you want...
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it? My time to shine.
Thara were here to witness me in glorious combat.
That is much better. I have encountered a real Hydrite. Whatever these fools are selling.
I was worried. It looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. My time to shine. The mission area is yours. Fight it tight. Time to celebrate.
Good fortune for me.
My time to shine.
Hi, that feels good.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
I'm easy picking.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Control lost. It's the grand finale.
Attack them!
My time to shine. Snowball fight.
No swinging away.
I was worried. A boom of light. Track this enemy.
How refreshing! Much better.
Just embrace the light. Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point. Just embrace the light. I was worried. Control seized.
Our enemies are near. I can feel them. We have succeeded. So far.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
How refreshing!
Take everything!
That's a dead
A nice deep freeze.
Never
My
fall!
time to shine. I was worried. A boom of light. That one hurts.
Lights
The area's almost yours.
Someone's sneaking up from behind. Double!
My time to shine.
The moon haunts you!
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Control lost.
I give you some eyes? Of course, Mark called in Khonshu. once.
My time to shine. Thanks so much. Trophies! You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Turn that on because it starts to hover.
Us against the world!
Another epic victory! Big win!
Bricks and Minifigs just got the GoFundMe for Brian Mansell, which was created by Reckless Ben, taken down. Now, if you take a look at this community post that Ben posted a few hours ago, you see he says, they took down Brian's GoFundMe. I wish I could talk about it, but I'll go to jail if I do. So that tells me that Bricks and Minifigs is heavily responsible for the GoFundMe being taken down because he says they took down Brian's GoFundMe, and he says if he talks about it, he'll go to jail. And obviously, as we know, Ben can no longer mention Bricks and Minifigs as a company, no longer name them, no longer critique them, all of that, at least until a temporary restraining order is lifted or altered in some way after the case actually starts and the hearing begins. So that being said, we can pretty safely assume Bricks and Minifigs was heavily involved with the takedown of the GoFundMe. My theory is that because of the temporary restraining order, Bricks and Minifigs possibly sent all of the illegal paperwork and submitted a request to GoFundMe, and GoFundMe actually obliged and listened to the request and took down the whole campaign. Now, at this current point, it is still unclear if the funds are going to be lost forever, who's going to get them, where they're going to go, will they be refunded to everyone who donated, is Reckless Ben going to get them so he can help Brian Mansell and help pay for the legal costs? What is actually going to happen with those funds? And I'm not entirely sure, but I really hope those funds are not lost. Most cases, I think if a GoFundMe fails for whatever reason, then the donations are paid back or refunded to everyone who made a donation. But I can also see a case happening in this lawsuit where somehow Bricks and Minifigs or the court, one or the other, they actually get to take the almost $450,000 that was raised from this GoFundMe. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to say, how that can happen. I don't know, but I have heard that's a possibility in this case. So if it truly is, that is really terrifying and honestly horrible. But either way, this GoFundMe being taken down and the fact that this money could be lost forever is insane, because it means at this point, Bricks and Minifigs has allegedly stolen $650,000 total from an 80-year-old man. Yeah, not a great look, and obviously this is horrible for Brian Mansell, the Mansell family, for Reckless Ben, and for the entire movement. But at the same time, Bricks and Minifigs made a horrible choice doing this, because even if Bricks and Minifigs themselves somehow gains access to this money, I don't know how that works, but, say worst case scenario, Bricks and Minifigs gets the $450K from the GoFundMe, then they still just committed business suicide, reputation suicide. It's over, because nobody's going to support Bricks and Minifigs after this. The common public opinion for the longest time involving this situation was Bricks and Minifigs is bullying the little guy, silencing the little guy, censoring the little guy, threatening the little guy, doing anything possible to silence all opposition. So this whole David versus Goliath dynamic that's been going on here, this development certainly does not help that at all, does not help Bricks and Minifigs' reputation. So I think at this point they must just be accepting their reputation is cooked and doing anything they can to recoup costs on their end and hurt the opposition as much as possible, because as far as public opinion goes, they've already lost, and this move is just, the audacity is insane. And I think Bricks and Minifigs, I thought Bricks and Minifigs was cooked forever before this, their reputation is done, but after this, it's somehow even worse. I mean, at this rate, tomorrow we're going to hear, even worse things happen. We're gonna hate Bricks and Minifigs even more. It's like every single day, the CEO, Eamon McNeff, or someone at Bricks and Minifigs does something insane. It's just like, you didn't think you could hate them as a company even more, but somehow how you do. And now I definitely do. I just gotta say, if GoFundMe like had a choice in this and oblige and actually listen to Bricks and Minifigs trying to take down the GoFundMe, it really shows you the contrast between a company like Patreon, where the CEO of Patreon rejected the takedown request. You know, Bricks and Minifigs submitted for all the videos to be taken down from Patreon for Reckless Ben, and the CEO of Patreon said, no, we're not going to do that. If you don't like that, you can sue us, Bricks and Minifigs. Whereas with this whole situation with the GoFundMe, it is the sheer opposite happening. It appears that GoFundMe has completely cooperated with whatever request that they received. Now, it's not clear how much of a choice they had. I'm not going to make any assumptions there. But one thing is clear from our perspective, it looks like one company stood up for the little guy and one company didn't. And I gotta say, if you are a company that is not standing up for the little guy in this situation, being Ben, Brian Mansell, everyone on that side of things, then you're probably just digging your own grave as far as your company's reputation goes. With that being said, let me know in the comments down below if I missed anything, your opinion on this whole situation. I'll see you all in the next video. That's it, guys. Thanks.
Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, with the fastest player in the game, the Zerg in the red, the Italian Stallion. It's
My
Rain,
time to shine.
facing off against the much more relatable Terran in the blue, from Team Liquid, the
We're
People's
supposed to
Terran.
be closer to
We
Budokan
have
by
Kira,
now.
in a best of 5 Zerg versus Terran showdown, between two players who truly believe that quality has quality on its own.
I was worried.
And speaking of quantity and quality, it'd be incredible if we could smash that out. And maybe even subtract before we get started. Tell me kind of the algorithm. Give me what it means.
That definitely helps.
1,710 miles.
Maximum pulse!
And I'll probably do that because
My time to shine.
But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better than that very first Overlord, not known for his agility, Kira with
A nice
2x
deep breath.
Marine at the
I'll
natural,
see you next time.
exploiting the fact that 99% of sane people don't go from actual Marines to start. But Kira is no casualty. He guns down the first Overlord, and now the map is dark and full of terror. He's just walking the Marines across the map.
My time to shine.
99% of players will send that Overlord to at least scout
Thanks
the
so
natural
much.
wall. This is completely exploiting what your normal, sane Zerg does. And doing integrated effects. And then he's following it up.
Against the world. I am ready to put on a show.
This build, I believe, older than Rain. Not sure anyone? 2x Marine into Bunker Run. The details, the timing might be a bit different, but literally a tale.
By the eye of Agamotto!
And Rainer does not know, and what he does know is very much hurt.
My time to shine.
Oh, also,
Lucky for
he
you.
does, even if he sees the Marines, he might not necessarily see the bunker. If Kira doesn't attack with the bunker, the SCV being there is incredibly suspicious. But if Rainer thinks this is just Marines and there's no bunker, he's building Zerglings. Zerglings aren't going to stop this. It's already too late. The Queen coming up. The Zerglings, they see the bunker. Oh, wow. What a 103 IQ play out of Pure. Oh, I'm not looking forward to the ladder. Not all the other 4 Zergs left on it, but Rainer off to a very uncomfortable start after the incredibly well-executed Bunker Rush with the now incredibly expendable Marines. Their job is
I
finished.
always wanted to play Budokan, but I'm
And so is that
this spot.
SCVs. Now we have to ask though, was it worth it? As
Almost there. Picture that now.
Pure using an advanced tactic, he started out with 2 barracks to twice. 4 barracks Marine with Stimmic combat shield on the way. Beyond would be proud, or sue for copyright infringement, or possibly both, because he's capable of doing multiple
put
things at
me
once,
out.
like most relatively competent
that
StarCraft
wheel
players.
moving
But I
again.
digress. The most important thing here, besides the cancel on the 3rd that Rainer, he was not building another 3rd. He was expecting to break that right up until that first Zergling
Only 60
took
seconds
a
left.
look and saw the bunker. The bunker makes it impossible, or at least way too costly.
Enemies on approach.
There's no third command center. There's the factory just started. The tech is stunted. But then again, if you have Marines to stunt on them, it really doesn't matter. The Queens and the Lings trying to claw and stab the rocks down, but it's going to be too little. And possibly too late. Stim is already done. Combat shield is not. The Queen's Stim is a significant percentage of potential health on these Marines. If he uses it, he just drives on by. That was rude, yet somehow avoided direct confrontation. That's mostly Raynor's doing. Here, not willing to commit, just trying to get. He's doing the fake slash. It could be real though, bro. You don't know.
The light always comes back.
Maybe I was joking.
Final
Maybe
10
I wasn't.
seconds.
Keeping his bets up. And until Raynor has things like Baneling speed or a much more comprehensive amount of creep spread. Well, caught between a rock and a hard place. The Marines get a few free kills right off the bat, and that's not usually a huge issue. But right now, when there's almost as many Marines as there are Lings, and Queens are the first to potentially last line of defense, that's not ideal. He hits the Stims, guns down a Queen. He gets behind the mineral line. The Zerglings trying to get their way in there, but instead going to be gunned down in turn. The Queen's being targeted. The Zerglings trick.
What is going on, studs? If you don't know by now the whole bricks and minifigs situation, here is a little dump on what's going on. Basically, bricks and minifigs stole a $300,000 collection on consignment. They didn't give it back to the old person who's it belonged to, and now they're trying to get it back, and they won't budge. And they're trying to take the legal way to basically not give it to them. So that's the short end of the stick. But anyways, I really just wanted to get on here, and at this point I've already made a couple videos talking about this because legitimately this is something that I'm really passionate about at this point, and I hate seeing this happen in the LEGO community because there's not much that happens in this LEGO community, and especially not something of this nature. Generally, any type of drama in this LEGO community would be like a LEGO creator doing something stupid, okay? Or the LEGO prices being too bad. In this case, there is something that's too bad, and it's how much they stole from this LEGO. But before I get into the video, I do want to preface this by saying I am a LEGO ambassador, and that means that there could be some repercussions from this because I'm speaking the truth and trying to get this out even further, especially to my audience. And from things like that. I work closely with the LEGO group. This doesn't mean that my opinions and thoughts are from the LEGO group. I would like to make that very clear. I also would like to preface this by saying that I have worked with bricks and minifigs in the past. I actually have a really great relationship with some of the stores near me. But, and this is the part that differentiates me from a lot of creators who have relationships with bricks and minifigs. I will no longer be doing anything with them. I really hope that they can get past all of this that is hurting the stores. But me, as a creator with morals, I genuinely cannot get behind supporting a company that does stuff.
On sight.
I'm going to shop there if it's independent. Because at the end of the day, profits don't just go straight into the owner's pockets. When you sign on to be a franchisee, you're signing on to, you don't, and it's not just a free thing. Obviously, there's licensing things to have that, but not everything is free. That everything benefits corporate. That's how corporate gets paid. So, even if you're shopping at your local ones, it's still benefiting corporate, and that's the sad part because a lot of people who bricks and minifigs are not evil. Let's be real here, the vast majority of people at bricks and minifigs are not evil. But it's the people at the very top that are ruining it for everybody that is making this whole situation worse.
Beyond sight.
The point that it makes people like me who have worked with bricks and minifigs never want to shop there again. And especially as a creator, that's not good for you. And there's a lot of creators that are going the complete opposite way that I'm saying right now.
Psionic magic!
People that I know personally that are doing the complete opposite of what I'm doing because they're getting a check. You know, they're not getting paid directly to be like, oh yeah, well, they're gonna help about this. The CEO even sent out an email, apparently, this is allegedly, to bricks and minifigs chains to say this is going to blow over in a couple of weeks.
Psionic magic!
You know how angry that makes me? That is crazy. And I hope that this brings out the right anger all of you too, because we could ridiculous to see that they think that they can just let this blow over and it not be a big deal. And that's why I'm making a video. This means I can make a separate video every single day yapping about this. I don't care. If this is the fall, if this is finally fall, so be it. Whatever. There's no storage. And that's the thing, is these stores, even though the inventory might mostly come from Bricks Minifigs Corporate, they can
By the eye of Agamotto!
their independent stores really independent. Somehow sue, get out of the contract, whatever. Because at this point, this all is hurting the little people, like the little guys who basically just wanted to make a Lego store. They chose Bricks and Minifigs because let's be real here, it's easier to start in a brand than it is to start in your own. It really is, and that's the sad thing because nobody did this before. I mean, there might have been people who have dealt with
Power beyond sight.
but at that point, I mean, it's either you go on your own, make it a lot harder for yourself, or you go the Bricks and Minifigs route, which is a vastly known chain, and obviously most people are going to do just that. And at this point, that decision is going to hurt them brutally. And that sucks because, again, not everybody is evil and bad and just downright dirty like the CEO and the people who work in Top Bar, and that's just bad. But anyways, that was a really long rambling session. Do I really think that this is going to be the end? Because I've gotten a lot of comments and a lot of them are saying
Maximum
a lot of stuff that's that very true. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know if this is necessarily going to be but I don't know how they're going to come back. I mean, obviously, let's say it's a year from now, things get better. I still don't know if I would like to shop out. You know what I'm saying? Like, even at that show, I don't even know if I would like to shop out.
Until we have a winner.
There's plenty of other, and I think at this point there's going to be so many of these Bricks and Minifigs chains that are like fully independent, make it their own, and then just start that way because this has screwed so bad. But do I think this is going to be in? Not necessarily. Do I think it's going to slow everything down by a vast margin? Absolutely. I think that it's going to be really hard to come back from this, and a lot of people, like myself included, are not going to be shopping there anymore. And it's seen, it's been on camera, it's been documented, especially about Reckless Ben, who's been really heading this investigation on the corruption and just the craziness and all those factors that have been going on into this. And, you know, I will say, there is this thing that Bricks and Minifigs said that it is just, you know, not necessarily the scripted stuff, but we've only seen one side, which is, you know, Ben's side of things, and the family trying to get the Lego stuff back. Because Bricks and Minifigs won't do anything. They're not trying to play ball at all, which makes them look even worse. It really seems...
Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
It is bonkers that this Lego scandal keeps snowballing into this avalanche of degeneracy, discovering new unhinged lows that previously went undiscovered in the meta. They're finding new tech here, Bricks and Minifigs that is, for just bafflingly awful decisions here. Now they have fully opened Pandora's box. They have unleashed the plagues out there, just misery. It's pandemonium. It's crazy because it's like Bricks and Minifigs is a Voltorb whose only move is self-destruct, and they are spamming that bitch. They are just finding every possible angle to ruin their reputation. If corporate ass fuckage was a sport, Bricks and Minifigs would be Michael Jordan.
Episode 3 is finally finished after crazy all-nighters and basically destroying my health.
Of course.
I can't post it, so I was in jail. Not only that, I was also immediately lose my lawsuit $300,000, and the GoFundMe we made for Brian will go straight to this mystery company now, and no longer
All you need to do is capture the
All of us
mission
are
area.
still
Got
trying
it?
to piece together the puzzle here and figure out who this mystery company could be. It's like a Smash Brothers character you haven't unlocked yet. We just can't quite make it out yet, but I do have a hunch, though I'm of course not 100% sure. who the culprit might be. We'll have to get Scooby-Doo on this case. So now they have Ball Gag Reckless Ben here. He was giving a status update on the whereabouts of episode 3, that it was completed, ready to rock and roll, but he is now unable to share that because it would put him at risk of going to jail and instantly losing his lawsuit, and also all the money raised through the GoFundMe for Brian and his family would be forfeit. So he can't release part 3 of the investigation on this massive Lego scandal because of this legal hoopla he finds himself wrapped up in. Now right away I want to talk about something because I've seen a lot of people mentioning that the methods that been used here were really counterproductive and may have actually been harmful in the grand scheme of things in this case. And while I do understand that criticism, like, yeah, it seems like some of the things he was doing may be purely for content, like that was the impetus behind a couple of the decisions, what's inarguable is that what has happened as a result of this is a net positive for the actual victims of the minifigs here, which is Brian and his family. The money raised through the GoFundMe is life-changing, and it is no doubt a good thing, and showcasing the way Bricks and Minifigs corporate, as well as how those individual franchisees conducted themselves, is also an extremely important thing as a PSA to the LEGO community with who they might be doing business with. So I think no matter how you spin it, no matter how you look at this and peel back the layer of the onion, I think even if you didn't agree with all the things they did, which I do understand in a few instances, I think all of it did lead to something very important, which was trying to help someone that had been wronged by a corporation that refused to try and make things right without this public spectacle. And also, unironically, Ben has made a sacrifice to, like, his personal freedom. He's went to jail twice for this and is now wrapped up in some very serious litigation. And all of that under the attempts to try and make things right for Brian. And like I said, again, even if you don't agree with all the ways he went about it, nothing would have been changing without Ben doing those. Brian still wouldn't have been getting what he was owed, or Bricks and Minifigs and the franchisees would have still been just giving him the cold shoulder, treating him like so. So I think it has been a positive thing that has gone to bat. And now I think his latest decision is one that is unanimously approved. To now silence the guy who has been talking about this and diving into it, I think is always just a completely inexcusable. And here's the thing, even if Bricks and Minifigs does end up winning against Ben, this kind of decision here is just such an underhanded, shitty tactic, already on the back of them trying to take down Patreon, his main source of income, that it is inexcusable and, in my opinion, pretty unforgivable. That is an irreparable blow to their reputation. Even if they do win, no one will be able to look at this company the same way again, and probably won't feel comfortable doing business with this corporation. That's what and again, his investigation has spread beyond just Bricks and Minifigs, like it showed some very questionable, very, very shady shit in the American Police Department, obviously. But it doesn't seem like the American Police Department is the one that is now attempting to censor Ben here, under threat of throwing his life away if he continues to talk about them and show his investigation. That is Bricks and Minifigs, the mystery company, whom I believe to be Bricks and Minifigs, based on what I think is pretty obvious evidence.
They sent full papers in my email, but I guess the question is this is a valid form of service. And so now that the picture is the Amazing Spider-Man even mention this company or in jail and everything. Normally I would be like, screw the big guy telling me what to do. I'm gonna do what's morally right. But in this situation, if I do that, then all my friends get screwed with this lawsuit, and we lose all the GoFundMe money we raised, like, immediately.
Completely understandable. I don't think there's a soul on this planet that blames him for that. There's really no other option than to comply with the demands of this lawsuit here, because if he doesn't, then everyone's getting face fucked. Not just Ben, anyone that he was even attached to a single tendril to this case here, including the main victims here, Brian they would then lose everything that was built up across this with the GoFundMe. So it makes sense why he is unfortunately having to make this decision to not continue talking about it and putting forth the evidence in part 3. I am very curious why they were able to serve him those papers through email as opposed to when Ben was apparently instructed that the only viable means was through amicable service, trying to serve the papers himself. But I guess maybe there's a chance where a judge looked at this and said like, oh, so Ben tried to serve them, they weren't receptive, so it's very likely that he wouldn't be receptive to Bricks and Mini Figs trying to serve Ben. So we'll grant you the motion to issue the service through email. But even in that case, I feel like that would have been easy for them to extend that same courtesy to Ben to serve through email, but I don't think they ever did based on everything that was shown in the previous videos. So that was a little confusing to me, and it's hard not to immediately think back on everything that was shown via the police body cam and what was said on those body cams and what we saw and some really questionable behavior from these officers. It's hard not to immediately think of maybe something a little deeper and perhaps a little bit, but that's where my head goes here, because there are some very questionable things that have unfolded on camera in regards to how all of this has been handled in that space there, but that's all just alleged. You know, I'm not saying it 100% is the result of corruption why this was deemed a viable means of service. I'm just very surprised, is all, that Ben wasn't able to utilize email for serving the papers to the franchisees.
So, I no longer allowed to even mention this mystery company. My personal opinion is this is unfair because this order was put on me because this company was telling the court that I was making bomb threats, I was planning on murdering the manager and employees, which obviously I didn't do, and you can see that in the footage. The only problem is I was not given a chance to share my side. The court just heard their perspective, not mine. So because I wasn't able to share my side, I'm now no longer allowed to talk about them. And looks like this might be it. So, yeah.
It's so fucking diabolical. They made these allegations that Ben was threatening them with bombs and violence and stuff like that. I'm gonna go over there and kick their butts. I'm gonna go in there, motorboat their cheeks and punch them up, do them bad and stuff. I'm gonna beat them up. They're saying all these things, which then enables them to move this forward to gag without ever even seeing Ben's side of it, apparently, according to Ben here. That doesn't make sense at all how that happens. I don't know if that's standard procedure or what, but I know in the case of like stalkers, like streamers who have had stalkers, they will give the most unhinged DMs, like actual hard proof DMs, messages, actual threats, even stalkers showing up to their house. They will provide that, and still authorities never really move to do anything to the stalkers. So why are they moving so hard against Ben? Like, again, you can question some of these methods, and yeah, someone could figure out like ballpark definitions of like stalking and stuff. But what's irrefutable is how lightly stalkers get taken so often with like actual dangerous psychopaths who are a threat to individual safety. They just get to walk away scot-free, willy-nilly, not taken seriously. But in this case, when it's a corporation that's alleging it, now all of a sudden the hammer's coming down. Here comes the giant fist. That's just fucked up. And they apparently didn't even hear out Ben's side, which apparently has supporting video evidence as well to the contrary, proving that he wasn't making those threats or saying those things or doing any of what was alleged. It's weird. It's weird. And the freaks at Bricks and Mini Figs just don't seem to recognize that even if Ben can't talk about it, you know what's going to happen? Everyone else is going to talk about it. They truly just don't understand the Streisand effect at all. Genuinely at all. They've never even heard the term, I guess. That nomenclature? Nothing. It's a fantasy. Like, it could have been so easily avoidable, all of this, if Bricks and Mini Figs wasn't such assholes based on all available evidence here. And the CEO is addicted, like I said, to this humiliation ritual of putting his face on all of it. Going on stream, be clowning himself. Like, constantly talking about it himself. So you're hearing it right from the top of the food chain. And it only keeps making it worse, and it makes people keep talking about it. So then, censoring Ben isn't going to just stop the story, it's only going to make it spread even more, as more and more people talk about it now that Ben can't. And I cannot believe that they can't recognize that fact. It's fucking unfathomable that people run a company that handles this much money that Bricks and Minifigs does, millions upon millions of dollars, and can't understand the simplest concepts about the world and life. It's so weird to me. It's so weird. But anyway, very unfortunate new development here in this Lego scandal. Had to yap about it. That's really about it.
Reality is but an illusion.
We light can heal and light can harm. Same with me.
Welcome back to the most professional
30
StarCraft
seconds
2 with
before
the
you
rank
attack.
1 Protoss
Get
of the
ready.
world in the red, the smiling
All right,
assassin.
Ty.
It's
now we
Hero.
really have to attack.
Facing off against the former world champion Zerg, now with the StarCraft 1 drones in the blue.
Cloak and Dagger.
We have Rogue.
We are
In a
hope
best of
and
9
fear.
Protoss versus Zerg Grand Finals for the Enki Epic Series and the
Even justice
StarCraft
needs to rest
Evolution
every now
Complete
and
mod. The mod that brings StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2
The battle
together.
starts in 5.
So if you like either of those
4,
games, it'd be incredible
3,
if you could
2,
smash that like button and
1.
maybe even subscribe. I would kind of like to see
All
it.
you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it? Time to shine.
1,769 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't. But thank you for watching, hopefully. You've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As the hatcheries are already being produced for Rogue, since queens are relegated to their original role in the skies, hatcheries are the only way to get the masses of larvae you need in order to pump out those Zerg units. The Overlord is going to find its way to the pervert pillar. It might be a detector, but you don't need to get in order to shake your tentacle fit. Wait, actually, what's going on? Moving on. Hero sends out his first adept. The players will be switching between their StarCraft 1 and 2 counterparts with each game.
Time to shine.
It appears that
Almost
Hero
ready to close this case.
either drew the short or the long straw. Not sure which one it would be in this case. To get the StarCraft 2 Protoss. But, well, apparently, when you just don't build any Zerglings, those Hydras coming out not nearly as strong as their StarCraft 2 counterparts, but, you know,
Light time to shine.
coming out this much earlier. Meanwhile, the Adept, 2 drone kills. Unfortunately, no answer to this whatsoever. No Zerglings. He could have built Zerglings. Let's be clear here. Rogue digging a little too deep and too greedily into the tech tree. Very awkward pathing for some of these drones, so dodges into the assimilator. Sorry, extractor. I don't know how I messed that one up, but Adept 6 kills and counting. Another Adept, the revolving door to get 8 drones dead. It's an economic disaster. Hero exploiting the mobility of those very first Adepts to slaughter a significant chunk of the economy. Now the Hydras have finished their speed upgrade. Our stunner stepping down isn't enough. Just barely. I don't think he had anything else at home. A couple more Hydras are popping out, but not nearly as strong as their more developed counterparts. But is newer always better? Or should we stick with the classics? Well, he couldn't make it here. Remain open.
Everybody needs a hand sign.
The Adept still a deadly option. Behind this, Hero has charged on the way. Did not go for a Stargate. Instead of relying on that early Twilight play. Bit of a different dynamic. We have Metabolic Boost, as well as... Is that ranged attack? Oh wait, no, that's Ruby Spawn. The Hydra range upgrade. The models, the animations, and the tooltips as well. Either drawn directly or inspired by their StarCraft 1 counterparts. The units, the stats are tweaked to be competitive with StarCraft 2. Of course, but nothing's going to solve the problem of Adepts in your mineral line when you have no Zerglings. Alright, I believe the StarCraft 1 solution to that is the same. Have any units, Rogue.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Well, Hero 44 pros, and no guesses at the natural. The minerals have a little bit more to him. I'm not sure if the gas is as well. Yeah, 2,500. Slightly more resources per base, which is generally favorable to the StarCraft 1 faction. Their workers also mine slightly quicker to balance out the natural mechanics of healing and chrono boost. But does that solve the problem? Oh, he's gonna ward off with hatcheries. What a play! Okay, Shakespeare, calm down. The Guardian Shield is good, but he just splits back. The force field really doesn't end up doing much. Hero just goes straight through. And in the Valley of Death, the Zealots are cut down one by one by the massive Hydra. And Hero has never found a way into a position he couldn't get himself out of, including a winning one. As we go into Karis Passage, the name of the map, and also you can tell what it's named after. The canyons in the center, these tiny choke points. Yeah, Hero thinking better about fighting in such a location again. That's the fact he did the first time. More extractors on the way. 3 more. He's just gonna let it finish. Why not? It worked out so well the first time. The lair is only halfway done as Hero has severely delayed any potential tech. The Hydra's gonna come out. Cheaper. Point out. And there's StarCraft 2. 75-25 as opposed to 150.
Double strain!
Watchtower down the center. I believe several sets of destruction that have less HP. Quite a difficult map. There's something about it. Both satisfying and uncomfortable at the same time. Like so many things. Moving on. Spire is on the way, and Mutas. A very real threat, especially considering that Hero didn't even bother with a Stargate, which means he could be bothered at great length by the Mutalisks. Rogue, with that many hatcheries early, contributed to his vulnerabilities, but at the same time, contributes to his ability to bounce back from it. He's already at 59 drones, and StarCraft 1 Zerg does not require as...
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you my review after 100%, well, minus like the 7 bugged achievements anyway, for 007 First Light. An espionage action-adventure trying to do a lot of stuff, mostly pretty successfully, albeit with a few nuisances along the way. But before we dive into all that, to get my usual stuff out of the way, I review games after 100% all the time to set me apart from other reviewers on the platform, and while that does include the achievements, it also includes a lot more than that. There's a link below covering everything I go over, and my Steam profile is public and
I've made don't have to be
a couple other things I need to mention. While this is coming out after the game's release, I did wind up receiving a review key for this the day the game launched, so I didn't get too much of a head start, but I was able to play it in the one-day early access period that it got, courtesy of a review key provided by IO Interactive. Now, I did mention right there at the beginning that there are no less than 7 bugged achievements, and with this being a 007 title, is a little funny, I will admit. However, if you are unaware, on the Steam version of the game at least, all 6 of the collectible achievements, as well as an achievement for the tactical simulation mode of the game, is also bugged, achieving clearance level number 3 in particular. Although, speaking of the achievements, this is a relatively easy game to 100%. It's probably 20-25 hours worth of game for you if you want to do that. The main story itself is probably like 10 to 15, and thanks to chapter select, even putting you at the exact checkpoint you might want to grab up some of the collectibles. If none of those are missable, means you can basically play through the story, then you chapter select to go back and grab any of the collectibles you may have missed, and then you only have to play a little bit of a tactical simulation mode to get 100%. Other than the achievements being involved, it's not a difficult task, which is a relatively short title. With that said, let's talk a little bit about the rest of this game as a whole. So, this game builds itself as an espionage action-adventure, and with IO Interactive active behind the wheel. They are, of course, behind the Hitman titles, which share a lot of DNA with what this game is all about at the end of the day. A lot of similar gameplay. However, the main story of this one is much more of a linear experience. The game does have like challenges and things to get you to explore some of the different avenues of approach through individual sections, but it is still definitely going to all lead you to the exact same place. There is still some of that fun to be found and just like exploring different ways to get in situations. However, the game is more on rails than it might initially try to lead you to believe. And what I think it like explicitly drops the ball a little bit is that some of the gadgets you get to mess around with are less than appealing. There's one called the laser strap, which gives you a little laser that you need to break things like padlocks and stuff. You get options for gadgets to bring into missions, but that one's pretty much required because it's the only way to do that, which means you're actively locking yourself out of content if you don't bring that one with you. And then there's little stuff in like how the NPCs and whatnot react to your presence, if at all in some cases. There are some spots at the fringe basically that I think the game could do a better job of being reactive, but I also don't think in the context of the story they're trying to tell you that it's the biggest deal in the world. I also want to point out that besides the story, it does have an alternative game mode called Action, where you can go through escalations, which are basically just a series of challenges, alongside operations, which are basically little mini missions that you'll go through, try to gather up something and escape. And if you just are particularly enamored with the gameplay and want a little more out of it, but even then, there's not as much there as I would have liked. But with that stuff said, let's go ahead and get to detailing here. Starting with the technical state, how's this game run? For me, it ran pretty well. I downloaded the drivers for it right after the game release, but even then, I did get a handful of crashes. Crashes were the biggest problem. There were like 3 or 4 of them across a game roughly 20-something hours. And then the other thing I would mention is that sometimes during the big action sequences, you would see some stuttering or a little bit of freezing, but that was pretty much it as far as my experience goes. Looking through the initial user reviews for this title, some people have mentioned having trouble getting the game to start, alongside some progression bugs and things, and I didn't experience those personally, but the potential is certainly there, I suppose. Moving on a little bit to difficulty, when you fire this one up, you have the choice basically between easy, normal, and hard, and what these affect are basically your health, the incoming damage from enemies, as well as your resources. In order to use things like your gadgets, you have to gather power sources or chemicals from the environment, and how readily available those are is affected by difficulty as well, in terms of like how much of it you use. Similar to the action adventure, it's never a terribly difficult game. You just have to master some of the basics to a certain degree and need to play on the higher difficulty, if you will. And that then brings us to the story setup. So, the story kicks off with our characters James Bond and Eric Seaman as part of the flight bringing some soldiers to a destination that is remote and secret. Along the way, you wind up getting shot down and you are the only survivor. You are then contacted by MI6, who explains the situation in, admittedly secretive terms. They had a special extraction mission going on here, and they would like to guide you through doing it. After doing what seemed to be impossible in that mission, you wind up being recruited by MI6 as a potential candidate for the recently revived Double A program. It has been defunct for about 10 years, and they would like to revive it and bring some of the key elements back to global intelligence. Unsurprisingly, this goes sideways a bit when conspiracies start unraveling and we find ourselves in the midst of all sorts of stuff. Some of the details there just to avoid spoilers, but I'll say a few things. One, it definitely seems like they were trying to hit the highest of a lot of things like that. You going down to a lab and having those moments where you get a demonstration of the gadgets you'll be using, building up tension, meeting beautiful women the way that it goes. So, in addition to the usual stuff, there's a lot of like little fun details that they've built in there. People reacting to things you are doing, little bits of dialogue changing based upon exact routes you took to the situation, just little stuff like that. At the end, it's very clear that they have set this up for a sequel. I believe IO Interactive has announced as much, but the ending leaves little doubt that they have more planned here, and hopefully we actually get to see that at some point. But overall, I would describe the story as pretty good. It wasn't the best thing I've ever seen. It was engaging, it was fun, a lot of the action action is very over the top, it keeps you guessing, and while it is a short game, they do spend the time with the characters that have big moments in order to make those moments feel properly rewarding, like they're not building up towards nothing. It's well paced, etc. So honestly, overall, pretty good stick. I had fun with it, and in combination with the fun gameplay, it's overall a really good time, even if the runtime is a little on the short side. From there, though, let's move on to progression. Progression in the main game is very, very basic. It's basically just the gadgets you'll get a hold of. As the game progresses, you get access to varied and different gadgets. You can only initially take 3 of them with you. Late game, you get access to 4. And outside of the ones that kind of separate the game, they're honestly a little on the dull side for me personally. Mostly, they'll just incapacitate people, allowing you to quickly take them down, or simply maneuver them some quiet things. Later in the game, you get access to like a missile pin and essentially sticky grenades. But throughout most of the game, honestly, now progression is a bit more involved in the tax sim side of things. So we'll talk a little bit more about tax sim in general, but that is a much more progression-focused endeavor where you go into and completing the challenges and completing the operations and stuff will then give you basically money to spend on unlocking guns and weapons and things you can bring into those missions. And progression is a little more very there than this. But that is really all there is to it. Which then brings us to the gameplay and world section. Now, as I already mentioned, the game is broken down into chapters, and within those chapters, it is broken down into a bunch of checkpoints. Once you have played through them, you are free to go back from the main menu and do not only chapter select, but checkpoint select as well, meaning you can go to exactly the point you want in a given mission, go gather up collectibles, things like that, which is helpful given the fact that the game is mostly a linear story. There are, on occasion, however, areas that are more exploratory, more open areas where your job is to complete some areas of the game. And those earlier ones, you simply need to make $100,000, and you have several avenues for doing that, and you're going to apply the gameplay systems given to you in order to gather up that. Other places, we are simply investigating or trying to get to the bottom of where somebody went, something like that, and you have to, again, navigate those situations to find out. Other sections of the game are more pure combat situations, and then there's certain parts that are a little more mixed, where you can go into a restricted area, or go into a trespass area, or bother people until they try to kill you, at which point you have permission, so to speak, to kill them. Now, while the linear, action-oriented sequences aren't bad by any means, I would definitely say my personal preference was for the more social aspects of it, where you're kind of plopped in.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one. Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Where there is evil in this universe, I will be there to balance it.
Apocalypse. He'd be worse than Dracula. But would he be worse than Khonshu? Okay, new rule. How about we steer clear of all would-be tyrants?
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Some assistance, please.
Sorry, whose butt exactly are we kicking? 'Cause I got the villain's privilege from that. Tippy toe spotted bad guys. There they are.
I feel better already.
Good timing. Perfect synergy.
Healing power. That's what I needed. I am at your service.
cosmos heals you.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Some assistance, please. The cosmos heals you.
That's better.
Cosmic might returns.
The cosmos heals you.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Can the hunt quad lead to freedom?
I'm hit.
Healing power. Feel my power. Healing power. I require some aid.
Cosmic might returns.
The cosmos heals you.
That's better.
Quantum magic.
That's better.
Back in the hunt. Almost there. Don't turn back now.
The cosmos heals you.
Your bite is sharper than expected.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man! Boom! No skill shot! Again!
Can always use a
I
shield.
appreciate you.
Second chance.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Done by his own.
Behold the god of thunder!
Quantum magic. Cosmic energy.
Emotions have fallen in place.
I feel better already.
Quantum magic.
Rainbow stands with you!
Quantum magic.
Oh, a touch of
Get that vehicle moving again.
Doesn't seriously do your dirty work anymore.
Quantum magic.
We are in this together.
back in the hunt.
I feel better already.
Prevails.
This time I need healing.
And I thought my healing
The cosmos heals you.
I am ready to put on a show.
so much for me. Just in time. Thanks.
Boom! No skill shot!
Quantum magic.
Magneto!
Oh, a touch of
Healing power.
I feel better already.
Quantum magic.
There's still so much to do.
anyone know a healing spell?
Healing power.
Feeling stronger already.
Get that vehicle moving again.
I require some aid. Quantum magic. Berserker! Rage! I am at your
Feel the
service.
wrath of the goddess! We must enter the depths below and
Healing power. Born again!
Alien is awesome shield.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Second chance is over. My cosmic might returns. Healing power. Even better than my mutant power. Our aquatic enemies have been eliminated. Healing power.
That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way.
Boom! No skill shot!
I'm hit.
Quantum magic.
Cover me.
Look who's just stronger together. This time I need healing. The cosmos heals you.
So close! This is your big chance!
Back in the hunt. Oh no! Our fans are gonna be so mad at me.
The cosmos heals